Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
It's Tuesday night, time for another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, I'm joined by Tony Has Nine Fingers.
What is going on, people?
And we have Angel from That Strange Show. What's going on, Angel?
What's up, guys?
And would you like to introduce our very special guests?
Yes, tonight we have Patrick Mediate, co-founder of Primordial Pictures, which I hope we can touch on tonight. He's also a creative executioner over at Block of Horror, and we are also joined by Mike Lowther, co-founder of Block of Horror, and also a killer bass player.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Mike likes to slap at a bass.
We're going to have a bass off. I'm a bass player, too.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
So, yeah,
let's see. No, I'm just kidding.
We're doing the damn thing tonight. Finally got you guys on.
Yeah, for real.
Good to be here.
Yeah, so you guys.
So for those who don't know, for the last couple of weeks, we've been not only streaming to our regular spots, the Dorkening Podcast Network, Dead of Winter Entertainment, but we've also been streaming to Block of Horror. They have this cool virtual reality, but it's on your browser. You don't have to have a VR headset, although that would be cooler too. But there's a movie theater within their VR world, and you can go and watch like short films and all this other cool stuff. But they're also streaming this show right now live. So if
Yeah, go. It's at blockofhorror.com.
Yeah,
click through the front page there, and but yeah, we have them on tonight because, like you said, we've been streaming to their newly launched platform, which being part of the Block of Horror community, been watching it grow and watching it kind of and getting some behind the scenes stuff through Mike, and really was looking forward to everybody checking this out. And it's been awesome seeing you guys launch what you've been working very hard at. And it's not just the theater, there's so mmany other options.
I was poking around yesterday. Yeah, there's some cool stores and stuff like that. And I was on the verge of biting and buying a t-shirt.
Do it.
Because when I popped in the boutique, whatever it was called, I don't even remember, because I pay that much attention. And right away,
old.
I had, who are you? Right away, there was a t-shirt for the movie House, like the old Japanese movie House, and I was like, oh, that's sweet. And I was looking, and it's not up there anymore. And I'm like, crap. Oh well, I'll keep my eye out for it.
It's probably Cult of Cult. It was over at Cult of Cult. Man, they have some incredible product, and like that's what we want to do with the Block of Horror. And just like you outlined right there, you went in there, you found this cool shirt with House on it. Like our vision was to create this world where we could bring all these awesome horror brands, right? These crossover brands with shirts, soaps. I mean, you name it. If it's horror focused, right? Like coffee, right? And we really just like get them all together and aggregate them and just use them as this discovery zone. So that's why we have the shopping mall and like different stores on the block. But like it's an aggregator, right? Because we couldn't find our favorite horror brands. We'd have to like look all around the net for hours and hours, right? And just like search high and low. And we found it really a disservice to the horror community that there's just like not a one-stop shop where you could just get all this stuff. So the way you said it was like exactly how we wanted horror fans to feel.
Nice. Yeah. And I had mentioned before we went live, it reminded me of on PlayStation Home. Oh no, we just lost.
Mike's got this like weird paranormal echo going on in his chamber. I call Mike's like lair.
I was calling him out. I was like, this is a virtual bass competition.
Yeah, he's got. And I've been in the I've been in his like lair, you know, personally, and it's truly wild. I mean, like if you look at his screens, because he's like obviously a game editor as well. Yeah. He's got like all these screens all up. He's going from one screen to another screen. It's really quite impressive.
That's a lot of attention span that I just do not have.
No.
Just real quick while we're waiting for him to jump back in, we have a couple people in the chat saying what's up. We have Justin saying hello. That's a cool looking puppet. I don't know what that puppet is, but it's cool. I want one.
Hey, Justin. Reminds me of like Meet the Feebles or something.
Kind of, a little bit.
Like
yeah.
A Muppet.
Like this is going to be shooting some kind of inappropriate stuff.
Yeah.
Getting on flashback
like a crank
or something.
Yanker or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
And some of these I think were associated with some of your links, or some of you guys' links, but there's Let's Go.
Oh, Chase.
Hey.
What up, Chase?
And you got
KG.
These are faces you see on the block. Like if you were to go on the block right now.
Blackhorror.com.
They're hanging out.
Sergio saying, hey, what's up? Good. Chase is back. What's up, everyone?
Chilling, man. Hanging out.
Freddie's saying it's good to see everyone. We got Mike back.
Mike is back.
There he is. Who knows if this paranormal echo is still occurring?
Yeah. We were saying, I was saying that I was sending you a base challenge like through my mind, and you had to go prepare. You're gonna win though. I have a neurological disorder. You're gonna win.
More fun if Mike mimes this entire interview. Like if he does like some sort of a charade mime type thing where like
he starts going like, huh? And he just starts doing the crank thing. We're like, whoa. All right, dude, you win.
Disconcerted. You don't want to get Mike's like the Hulk. You don't want to see him when he's angry.
I have base questions for him, but we'll talk about that later. Just because, base talk. So what brought you guys to this? Like, how did you guys get this whole thing rolling?
Yeah. I mean, Mike and the gang, right? Like Zach and Mike had this thing established well before I got involved. Mike, is your echo going or is it still there?
I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Mike's the better person.
I'm so sorry about that.
I could kind of ramble and get there, but like I think Mike is better to like answer the question about like how they got started, because again, I joined a little bit later in the game, so I'm going to hand it over to Mike to like really talk about like the roots.
Guys, hey, what's going on? We started in 2021 as trying to build a horror community where everybody can come together, right? A place where you can go 24/7 and really solve that problem that horror fans don't have is they don't have a place to go. They don't have a single place to go. So back in 2021, we've always been on the cusp of new technology. Like we got into VR in 2015. We were doing 360 video, choose your own adventure stuff. And then we got into blockchain in a way to put horror storytelling from a community standpoint to allow our community to vote on the creative process of a horror story. And it was a success and it was great.
It was sick.
Yeah, Chaos Manus was there. He was there the whole time, like coming to our development dens and our writers' rooms and stuff like that, and giving the people a voting ballot, a way to have their voice and their vote in the creative process, which is something you don't see these days. And that was really just the beginning and like our early formation of the community. And our big thing, going back to the original ethos of giving people a place to go 24/7 is finally coming to reality, and we just launched that on Halloween weekend, which is a complete virtual world where you can go and you can watch movies, you can play games, you can talk to people, you can hang out, you can buy stuff, collectibles, horror, IRL, horror-centric brands, all sorts of things, and that's just the beginning. So really appreciate you guys having us on and giving us the platform to talk about it today.
Oh yeah, I was poking around yesterday, and I was like, I'm assuming it's supposed to be like this. It's pretty weird and twisted, but I'm like, I dig it. I just kind of want to hang out. It was like, I was like, hey, I'm just going to go down this way. And it was just a family like on fire. I'm like,
yeah, you walked through the forest fire. Yeah, there you go.
It was just like
That's
people
actually
just like rah, like screaming, and I'm just like standing there, like, hey, what's up?
On one of our IPs, Undead and Arrival. Aaron McLean and I were talking. You were talking about The Walking Dead a little while ago. Aaron is my co-creative partner at Primordial Pictures. We create original, horror stories, right? And we're such big horror fans. We wanted to create a company that like stayed true to like the roots of horror, but like almost created new films that harkened back to that age of when horror was just so much fun with a little bit of a twist, right? So we created Primordial Pictures, but like a lot of our IP, actually, most of the IP right now in like the video store, if you go in there, you can actually experience a true video store where you could pick up the VHSs like you did back in the day, spin them around. All those movies in there are our IP from Primordial Pictures. So that actual scene that you were just talking about with the fire outside and the zombies and all of that is from one of those pieces of IP, Undead and Arrival, which we wrote a feature screenplay for, original screenplay. And, we have like our manager putting out there in the world, and we're trying to get funding for and all that stuff. So there's really these fun intersections there, and you'll see more of that as the block evolves.
Yeah, and if you go to... Oh,
go ahead, Angel.
No, I was going to say, so what he's talking about, if you go to the VR world, you got to go find Horror Hounds VHS Media Vault store. That's where you can find all the cool build out, all the 3D stuff that is fucking awesome. It's got a little arcade and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
Hey, Karen.
Hey, Karen.
She's watching.
Karen's actually watching in the block right now, blockofhorror.com. She went in there, went to Prophet's Theater, which is our movie theater, is watching this stream in the theater, and it's like no experience you've ever experienced. It's truly like watching a film in a theater with an audience. Really great. It's fun.
People are just whipping popcorn at the screen.
Oh yeah.
Not yet.
I'm just like, I can't wait to tell my mom I finally made it. Like, I was on the big screen, Ma, virtually, but I was on the big screen. Not really though, but kind of.
No, it was cool because like when you guys ran, just to touch on, you said you launched like Halloween weekend, but you launched with Red Tower and their film festival, which was followed then by Blocktoberfest, which we helped with last year. It was awesome, like going in there and like, oh, there's fucking KG, there's fucking Mike, and like, and then like you have the little chat window on the side. So it was crazy interactive in the sense of like, while we were watching the shorts, we were like all commenting like, ooh, like, oh, that was fucking awesome. Like,
it's a new dimension that you don't get to experience in a real movie theater. Like we did we partnered with this startup tech company called Adventure, and what they did was they produced this sci-fi horror short film called Lab Rat. And it's a choose your own adventure short film where it's, if you guys have ever played Jackbox before, you use your phone, you scan the QR code, and as an audience, you vote on the direction of what happens. So it's Bandersnatch, but with an audience.
Bro,
and I've never seen this before. Insane. And what's even cooler about it is you could type in the chat that's in the theater so you can hear what everybody's saying and thinking like in real time. So everyone's like, vote for this, vote for that. Yeah. And it became this really cohesive audience experience that we were laughing. It was insane.
I believe someone said like, what happens at the Prophets Theater stays in the Prophets Theater, right? I think we all just voted for murder, right? I think we all just collectively.
Y'all are murderers out there. You guys are sick. Horror fans are sick. All of you.
So Tony got to poke around a bit too, and like one thing that like, because I've talked about it, Angel's talked about like going to like film fests and stuff, and like just how cool it is because you'll randomly just come across something you'll never be able to see anywhere else, and it's just like, oh crap, like we saw this short film and it like blew us away or whatever, and you got to go check it out at the Prophets there. You got to go check out some of a short film fest, right? I experienced that yourself.
Well, at that point in time, I missed the live experience because that would have probably been cool. But on Red Tower, they had the whole experience, like they've had their like played the whole thing, and I thought that was really awesome. Just how many movies that never see the light of day, I guess, and it's just like the only way to see it is a film festival or on YouTube. But like you guys said, it's one place where if you come into here, it'll all be because, you know, you can find it if you really dig deep enough. If you're really looking for it, you'll find it. But nowadays, not a lot of people do that. So if you can have it just in one spot, then you know it'll make it that much easier. And I think it'll definitely help the horror, you know, community as a whole too, because then you know, being interactive, that's how you find, oh, you hear about this movie? Oh no. Okay, well, let's all check this out or whatever, or have like, you know, a certain screening, or like I do have a few questions, but we'll leave it after. No, like
but that's what it's about. That's what it's about, Tony, right? You said it, community. You know, the block of horror is nothing without the horror community. So like, envision it this way: the more people that are horror fans and the more of the horror community are in there, the better the experience is going to be. Because I think you said too, Kevin, it's like you went to a film festival and you saw, you know, this person there, or saw that person there, or you went on the block and you saw someone you knew there, right? The more people that like get involved from a holistic standpoint, and the bigger we are, the more fun everybody's going to have, because they're going to see, hey, you know, their favorite horror star on the, you know, under the street light, or, you know, a friend they talk to that knows horror in the Prophets Theater in row 5, right? The more people get involved, just naturally, the better experience is going to be. And we're really working right now and building out a lot of attractions to keep everybody there. It's right now I liken it to like, we have, you know, Disneyland's built and you've got like the lands, right? But if you don't have the rides, you just walk around and you walk around for 20 minutes and then you just leave. Yeah. So we've launched the world in the shell of it. Now it's time to really build those attractions out. And we're doing that aggressively and trying to like keep retentions there so we can keep that community in there. So when you come in there, you will find other community members there because they have a reason to spend a lot of time there.
Yeah. I was even going between buildings just to see if there was any. Like,
I did too. I was
just like, let me see if I can squeeze in there. Let me see if there's anything hidden.
I got stuck between a house, and then it was like, hey, you can't go this way, and I was like, wow, they even have the whole like, hey man, turn around, you're going the wrong way, kids.
Like,
don't want you getting lost there.
Yeah, but you can't get out, and then like every time you go to lock back in, it's you're like. You're just smaller and smaller, and you're just like fading away. The next thing you know, you're one of those zombies that's in that fire pit.
Yes.
Kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sergio wants to make sure that he knows that he's saying hello, and he's asking if we have a trailer. We don't have a trailer. It's a website.
We don't have a trailer.
So you can go to the website and just walk around the trailer.
Oh, you have a trailer?
Oh, I don't know if I can.
Yeah, Mike, we're allowed. Did you say we're allowed to share?
Yeah. You should be able to
Mike
present.
can definitely pull up a trailer.
Yeah, go down to present, and then it'll probably ask me for permission, and I'll be like, never. Be like,
Give me a sec. Let me cue this up here, and
right.
You'll see.
You have a faster computer than me, so it's going to be better.
I'm just on a regular old Mac.
Well, I'm on a ThinkPad that was, yeah. That's all I have to say is the ThinkPad. And he's like, yeah, oof. No, it's one that I had for a job, and then the job's like, yeah, it's too old. We're gonna get you a new one. I'm like, hey, can I get that old one? That's how new this is.
That's how this.
Yeah, Mike, we showed this trailer at HorrorCon a few months ago, and we really blew everyone away there. It was a really great experience. Everybody was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh yeah, that's right. You were at. Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Connecticut
you were
one.
The one in Los Angeles, the HorrorCon LA, and just everybody we came across there was just like their mouths were agape. We had like a main stage presentation that I like sort of a keynote thing, and it was really exciting to like launch what the possibilities of this could be. And I think that's what it really is right now. It's like we know where it's headed, but like we're selling the possibilities of what it can be, right? Even though it's not like the fully fleshed out Disneyland right now, we know where it's
like that's
and we're really excited about that.
Yeah, and having conversations with you guys in the Discord and with Mike and all that stuff, like from what I've gathered and all that stuff, like it's just like right now, like you said, it's a beta and like trying to get everybody onboarded and like familiar with the whole setup and like the interactive events that you guys have held. And we're doing this tonight, but also half hour horror with Chase and Aaron and all that kind of stuff that just started. This Saturday was their first one where we got to see their their faces, like after so many months of on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. So it's cool, man. And like I told Mike the day you guys launched, like it's just been awesome. And I've always been like behind you guys, and like the whole transparency thing, like you guys have always upheld, has always like resonated with me. So like yeah, I will always champion this for you guys, you know what I mean? And like even the small involvement that I'm in now is just like great, so I've been telling, like I told these guys, like, hey, these guys that I know are doing cool shit.
Yeah,
like
he's been talking about it for a while. Yeah,
we're gonna just it was one of those like, trust me, bro, like one of those like once you see it, Kevin knows, like he's like, hey, whatever you think,
yeah, like, I trust his opinion quite a bit. So so one of those things where I'm like, oh, it must really be pretty dope if he's talking that highly about it.
Because like this too, like to go back to you guys were talking about community, and back when I joined, like end of pandemic time, like in there with like was the creative thing and the development den, and like like giving the community prompts to create like collaborative IP, you know what I mean? And like I thought that was fucking like so awesome, you know what I mean? That you guys were like giving a spot to creatives, and then like in the form of like this is for us, by us, and then like so fuck yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's like a community is nothing without its community.
Yeah.
Giving you guys a voice and even just a vote on something. I mean, if you go around the virtual world right now, you'll find a couple of like I don't want to call them surveys, but they're sort of like an interactive thing where you can vote on things for us to add into the world. Like, it would only make sense to give you guys the things that you want and not what we want. That's what we want. Then we'll just make it for ourselves. We'd rather give you guys what you want. So if you want, avatars that have, a baseball bat with nails in it, or a ninja sword, whatever the hell you guys want, like that's the stuff that we'll put to the front line and start making for you guys. It just makes sense.
So I can get a longer ponytail.
You want that? All right.
That's really the goal. Like that's I don't know how much we could tease, Mike. Like, but like we want to create. I don't want to like make a specific tease about like an attraction, but I will say that there will be attractions that cater to doing something, right? Like playing a game or participating, or having a challenge or a quest, whatever that is, and a reward for doing that. So like maybe you'll be able to like run faster around the block. Maybe you'll be able to have a cool new,
super
thing to your avatar or superpower, right?
Maybe
like
you can be a kaiju. I'm just saying. I'm kind of throwing that out there.
Kung fu. Like that's what I mean. It's like we have the ability to like create a true community from the sense of like a hierarchy where like you can earn more and you can up your status as someone on the block.
Okay.
Where when you do that, you're incentivizing the community to actually participate, right?
Yeah. See, one of the things that I enjoyed was being now kind of addicted to the con life, I guess you want to call it, horror cons and stuff. The one thing, the Kelly Maroney room. So one of the things that I thought was cool is you could buy like 8x10s or some of her movies or stuff. It'll help the people, certain celebrities don't make, certain cons. Like, everybody has their staples. So if you're on the West Coast and the people that usually come to the East Coast, I don't know how it's going to work, or if more celebrities are going to sign on, they could have their chance of, okay, I can't meet them in real life, but at least I can get a signature this way or a movie this way or interact with them. Same thing with some of the vendors. Like you walk through a vendor station and it's like, oh, this thing's pretty cool, but it's only like I've seen people go to different spots, but it's in California and they don't travel this way. It's like, oh, that would have been cool if I can have it here in Jersey. But this is, if people come to you guys and they're like, oh, can we get our own little storefront? That's a good way of, seeing more stuff that way.
Yeah, we pride ourselves in that. Like we market ourselves, and we did in HorrorCon as a 24/7 horror convention of sorts. So like, Kelly's is probably the litmus, that's like the gold standard right now for the introductory of what this could be, because Kelly's one of our true ambassadors, and she'd do anything for us. She's like so behind us on Block of Horror. She's just like overwhelmed by what this is and sees what it could be. So her store is a really good first kind of beta version of that, where we do see that being replicated for other stars, where they're sort of like booths, but they're more interactive and they're more like it as part of the environment and not like a booth, because a booth is like, it's a little sterile. We want to make it part of the world, right? And down to the fact that we'd love it if you just click a button, schedule a Skype call or schedule a, one-on-one video chat with your favorite, actor, pay $20, whatever amount it is. And, your call is scheduled. It goes on your calendar for 5 o'clock and you get to talk to your favorite horror star. So we want to do this and help empower creators, actors, the horror talent of the world to join up with Blog of Horror as a place where the community can come in here and experience as well. So that is a vertical.
Yeah. I was going to ask if that was actually something that was like down the road, like if there was like a store that got involved and like, hey, for the grand opening of the store, we want to invite we've already contacted these people, they're going to do it. Do we have the means to do this and whatever? Like, is that something you guys could do, where like, say, like they have like like Kelly Maroney or like a Felissa Rose, where like she's going to be available for X amount of hours and you can schedule calls, stuff like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's now. You can go into Kelly Maroney's. I mean, we don't have the button that you can schedule that out, but like we can easily do that. And I think intention is to speak to Kelly and try to arrange that and coordinate how that's done. But her store is pretty much going to be the testing ground for that, for sure. So 100%, it's like it's already there somewhat, and it will get to where that is very soon. I think that's one of the things that's really actionable.
That's awesome.
And Tony, going back to your point about like horror conventions, we did a lot of research and found a lot of metrics. The two biggest pain points with horror fans when it comes to horror cons and horror conventions is travel. It's very difficult to travel. You have to go somewhere because there may not be a con in your city or even in your state or maybe even in your region in the time you're available. And it's also very expensive. You go to these things, you got to bring a lot of money. Autographs are not cheap. There's you got to pay for the ticket to get in, all sorts of stuff like that. So this is sort of kind of solving that problem and making it like a 24/7 horror convention. We have movies in there that you can watch. We do screenings, events, live events, and just, a place to hang out with your friends, because we've got spatial audio. You turn your mic on and you can meet new people. That's the whole point,
Hello. Also waiting online too. It's one of those things. I just went to
wait in line.
Yeah. Exactly. I just
imagine it's like, oh, it's perfect. It's just like real life. And you just like you're in line for an hour and a half.
Should we put that in there? It's the line ride.
Then right when you're next in line, like they have to go change their avatar. They'll be right back.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be hilarious. That'd be hilarious. Like
that would be really funny.
April Fool's joke. All right,
but it could also Block of Horror could also be, how many of like independent filmmakers want to have like a premiere somewhere, but they just don't have the means of doing it. They can maybe contact you and be like, hey, listen, could we use the theater to, have everybody come this way and meet this way? Because it's like, the same thing too. Like they do have their premieres, but it's just like not everybody can make it to like a New York premiere or LA premiere or something like that. But if you have it virtually this way, that's a way where all their fans can meet at once that way too. It could be a specific way to do that.
It's hard on the artists too. I mean, I talk to Kelly every single day and she's become a friend, and she, you don't like understand this and kind of see it from that perspective too. But like you've got her flying across the country 1 week. 1 week she's at the Northeast, I think she's going to Boston or something in a couple of weeks. And then the next week she's in LA, and the next week she's in Iowa, and the next week she's in this state. And I'm like, just listening, I'm like, this is exhausting, just to sign autographs and sit there and wait at a booth, for your fans to come by.
Hopefully it's
busy.
Oh
my God. And hopefully it's busy, right? Like, but I think this is going to be a solution where maybe that talent can cut down on the amount of cons they fly all over for, and just say, hey, I got a store in Shadowfield. I don't have to like if they're doing it for some supplemental income, right, for themselves. it's a place where I think might alleviate some of the need to have to travel to all these cons to like support themselves or their livelihood, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a good start.
There's always going to be those
ambassador.
People. Yeah. There's always going to be those people though that like you're going to want to meet in person. Like,
absolutely. You know. It's not going to replace the real life experience. And but it's a supplemental experience where like if you're looking to have an alternative, you know, interaction with one of your favorite stars or creators, you can do that. And maybe you can do that. Maybe more people will be open to it because I know there's other actors and creators that don't want to go to cons and be in person, maybe for one reason or another. This is another opportunity or another you know avenue that they could take.
Yeah, because it seems like it would, you know, besides like the ask of like to spend the time if they do decide to do that way, but it would just be, you know, a little bit of their time to, you know, supplement the, you know, the wares, I guess, you know what I mean, for like signing autograph pictures or whatever for their storefront. And whatnot.
Well, it's like a different version of Cameo. I mean, people put their stuff up there, and it's like, here's I'll give you a 3-minute video or something. Tell me what you want me to say, and I'll say it, kind of deal.
It's almost
like a different avenue.
It's more personal because you could be talking face to face with the person, you know, as opposed to being like, hey, your friends just sent me in a list of things to make fun of you about. Bye. You know,
it's fun too. You know, it is also the live chat is also fun too. Like in the comfort of your own home. I did something during the pandemic. They had a lot of these during the pandemic. One was called like, what was it called? It was like Holiday Con or like Retro Con, whatever. They had a few of these, and I actually had an opportunity to have a one-on-one video chat with Melissa Joan Hart. From like old Nickelodeon days. I'm like, what?
I had a huge crush on her, by the way. Huge.
Of course, that explains it all.
When during
con is like, I mean, like, you know, and this con was crazy because you could talk to Melissa Joan Hart, like Lacey Chabert, like they cycle through and you got like 5 minutes with each person, and then like the next person would come in the next room, and you got an opportunity to talk to all them. But the cool thing that I realized about that was that like I got to like show off my collection of props because I'm sort of a prop collector and things like that. So I was showing Melissa Joan Hart around my place and like showing, hey, this is a cool thing I have to do. Kind of letting her into my orbit a little bit. And it actually was a little more personable than like being out in the open at some random con. It's like, well, what are you going to talk about? It was kind of fun and a little bit more personable to do it that way.
That's awesome. I would have been like, I had a crush on you when you were a kid. And it's mostly because you had a They Might Be Giants poster on your wall, and I'm sure you didn't pick that. So it's all for dumb reasons.
The same thing at cons too. Sometimes if you try to get too personal, especially if the line's long, you're that asshole that spends that 1 or 2 extra minutes, and everybody's like, I'm waiting online. Could you please like go at least this way?
That's why I don't like playing mini golf. That's why.
Because I'm always for that reason. Yeah, that is 100% true. But with Melissa, it was funny with Melissa because it ended up being that she was like, "Where are you calling from?" I'm like, "I'm in Southern Connecticut," and she's like, "No way, I'm in Southern Connecticut." And I'm like, "Where?" And she's like, "I'm in Westport." I'm like, "I'm in Greenwich." And it turned out that she was literally 15 minutes from me. And it like we were really close to each other in proximity, and we just had this whole conversation about it. But like, you lose that stuff, you know, in person because you're all meeting somewhere random, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, but mini golf, I hear you on mini golf. Pain in the ass waiting.
No, just because of all the people like, oh, hurry up. Like,
oh yeah, I know.
So that's why you feel bad even asking questions at some of these cons. Like, all right, just give me this picture. I got to get out of here. These people.
Now, if anybody's listening here that might have a company or something that they're looking to possibly build a storefront in there, how do they contact you guys? Because I could just see and plus, is it like the more stores you get, if you get more, is there going to be like floors added to the mall and stuff? And
so
how's that
so much?
work?
I mean, yeah. So like we have space in the mall, a lot of space, empty storefronts and things like that we're building out. But we also, a lot of our partners have been getting creative. Like one of our partners wanted to do like an underground speakeasy type thing in a grave in the graveyard. You go down like behind a grave and you can go. So there's really unique, fun things. We have a diner. We have a lot of spaces that can house, you know, partner relationships and stuff. But like right now, we started this off, you know, with our initial partners, but now where obviously like anybody can have place in the block for a development fee, right? So we only have to cover the fees basically to build the house, right? Digitally build the house. So that's the cost to get involved. If you want to reach out to us, Mike, I don't know like the best place, but probably you can reach out to Mike or myself. Our first names at blockofhorror.com. Email is just like reach out to us. And you can we can have a conversation about that. And these costs aren't ridiculously exorbitant, right? Costs a lot to build a house or build an actual store, but it doesn't cost that much to build in the block. Relatively, I think a lot of people would be surprised at how low the cost is. So we're happy to do that, and we would love to build out more, and we just need the money to do it. So
that's a lot of the back end dev stuff that because in the front it's like, wow, this looks awesome, but there's like
someone's got to be doing all the
someone's got to do all that heavy lifting
and Mike might be one of those guys.
Is it?
Oh, Mike does everything. Mike is Jack. Truly, Mike does not sleep. He hasn't slept.
No, he doesn't.
I don't sleep.
But Aaron McLean, I was telling you about, he's the VFX supervisor in Walking Dead, my creative partner in crime with Primordial. He built a lot of this out. In fact, like the beta version that we peddled around to the brands to get them attracted, he built those initial, that initial like storefront and initial vibe. Crazy. So he builds out some of this, but we also have a really, really good developer that builds.
Nice.
Too.
Were you able to pull up that video, Mike?
Yeah, I see it in the thing here. Do you see
Roll that beautiful block.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it's down here. All right, give me one sec.
What the hell, Kev?
So I'm gonna add it to stage. Sergio, pay attention.
Totally free, y'all. Come in.
Oh,
yeah, Sergio. Going in free. But
I think I saw Cormier. So is there any way that come spooky time next year we can have an immersive community based spooky time, walk through type of deal with shit popping out, haunted hayrides.
It's definitely it's 100% it's a great idea. It's 100% possible. Like the corn maze, if you've been in it already, you truly do get freaked out. Like things do pop out at you, and you get some good jump scares.
Yeah.
So we could definitely do something like a haunted attraction.
I'll go in there with my long ponytailed avatar and jump out.
It might get cut off. There might be some big garden shears in there cutting off your hair. We've got a lot of really cool interactive things coming. That's sort of like just the launch thing. But yeah, we have. If you go into the video store when you first spawn into the world, if you look to your right, there's a video store that Cass you were talking about. And how many tapes are in there, Patrick? There's like 65 with like 100 more to go that are still being put together.
Yeah, I use that number. Yeah. But like it's growing every day because Aaron and I come up with these crazy ideas for new IP. And, the reason why there's 65 videos in there is literally the 65 things. If you go to a production company, they have their development slate, which is essentially like they keep all under lock and key, right? Yeah. Blumhouse probably has like 1 trillion films that are in development right now. We're honestly not precious with our development ideas and our slate. Literally, the video store is Primordial Pictures development slate. So like if you go in there, all of those films are original, and all of those films we would love to make someday or write a feature for. Some of them have feature screenplays written, some of them don't, but like it's all ours,
Yeah, and a lot of those are going to become activations around the virtual world. So the Corncob Maze is from the Corncob Man, which is one of the tapes that's in the store. There's a lot of things that are slowly being developed around that fire that you saw, that the forest fire. That is also a scene from one of the movies in the video store. And the next big game activation thing coming is one of those. I'll give you a hint. It's snow themed. So we'll see. We'll see when and where that comes out.
This has been in the works for a while, and it's one of our favorite IPs, and it involves like a creature that lives beneath the sea, like an extraterrestrial sort of being that's migrated from the waters due to global warming, and it lives in this community, the seaside community. And the game is going to be so much fun. Nice. So much fun. Yeah. It's called The Devil's Thaw. You can go in there and check that out.
All right. Yeah, go flip the VHS on that. So
I only checked out one. The reason I mentioned kaiju before is because the thing on the cover looked like a kaiju. And I was
Eric's a big kaiju guy.
There's a big rubber monster on here. I'm sold. I'm like, can I watch this? Like, what do I do?
That's the fun part. That's what we wanted you to say. Like, we wanted everybody to go in there and be like, "Hey, can I watch this somewhere? Yeah. Like, where can I see
legit?
this?"
I'm like, what do I hit? Is there like even like a trailer that I can watch?
Exactly. Like, we wanted that visceral feeling of like saying, "Hey, like, can I see this somewhere?" And you know, we fully want to involve the community in like upvoting their favorite pieces of IP to get in front of us, because like it really may inspire our next you know, what we write our next feature on, and then come with a sort of a proof of concept, right?
That's awesome. Yeah. No, it's a really cool idea, and it what's there now is awesome, and is just going to be even more. So
yeah, I know you guys got Blood Tales coming too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Blood Tales will be there next year, which is something that directly involves the community, where the community can submit short stories. You guys remember Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine that coming back in like 2025, but from a community standpoint. So our community will be able to submit short stories, and we will pick a collection of those, release them to the community for everybody to read, and then the community can create art for each of those stories, and then we will tie that art to the stories and then create an ebook that everybody can download for free.
That's cool.
And then you'd be able to buy a physical copy of that if you want. But it's sort of like, you know, it's like Campfire Tales. It's a way of the community to tell stories and give you writers and artists a platform, because a lot of people don't have that. The person in a little tiny house in the middle of Kansas somewhere that doesn't really have a voice and nobody's listening, like, come to us.
Yeah,
tell us what you got.
His little tiny haunted house in Kansas.
Yeah.
I got a tale for you, Mike.
Yeah. That reminds me, like, because my parents are like both in their 80s, and like they would have books from like just the community would get together and write books. Like this, talk about being old, but like legit, it would be like the Watchtower, you know, whatever, and it would just be people that all like, you know, worked in this one area would like write a book. And I don't know, so it's kind of like that.
That is a great idea for a movie. Like I know we're talking horror here, but like what a great idea for a movie. Like it was a old cheap person community that writes community writes books.
It pretty much would have been like horror, because they all worked where they all worked was a state hospital, so it was a mental institution.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. How cool is that for a horror film?
But it was reality. Like, my dad worked there as a nurse.
It's like Cocoon meets, you know.
I was just gonna say that.
It's that'd be wild.
Yeah, man. Cocoon, Tales from the Dark Side.
When I was younger, my dad would come home with like some random stuff like all the time. Like they had this weird like little store there, and I asked him to bring me home a straitjacket, and he did.
Wow.
And, and my mom was like, "No, you got to bring that back."
But Dad loves me.
I had it for like a day, but it was pretty great for a day. But yeah, my dad's cool is all get out. I tells you, he might even be watching right now. Hey, Skip.
Hey, Dad.
What up, Skip?
Hi.
I'm
going to Blood Tales, Dad.
Yeah, Dad. You can I don't know, be a character of sorts. I don't know. Anyways, So I want to know about this bass playing stuff. So do you still actively play, Mike?
It's been a bit. I did a lot of band stuff. I used to be signed to Capitol Records.
Oh,
did
nice.
a bunch of tours. The music industry is not the best.
Oh,
industry.
those old folks. Capitol Records.
Oh, Capitol, huh?
Yeah.
I know some people that like have very similar stories. Like they started to make it, and then they're just like, this stinks, and they're like, it just falls apart. Now they work in warehouses and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I love that the critic reference you just threw out there.
Oh,
Kevin.
it stinks. Yeah,
it stinks.
Speaking of cons, I finally met John Lovitz.
Yeah,
and he was not having a good day. So I was just like, I got
John.
I got
many of those.
Did he have his new hair?
Yeah.
No.
When you're like, sorry you're having such a bad day, and he's like, yeah, acting. You just did that at the end of it.
I got my Complete Critics series signed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And my favorite thing was buy my book. Buy my book. So I'm like, could you just sign buy my book? And he looked at me like he wanted to kill me. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God! Wow.
But yeah, that was an experience. I was like, hey, I got John.
Remember who he is, right? I mean, come on.
He didn't have too many people on his line. When other people
how do you get John on the show?
I
gotta call him up and get John on here.
I wouldn't even attempt. Like
he
I
just
said,
stares at us for an hour straight, just like
because usually I'd go and try to get a picture with him, and he didn't want to get up. He didn't like I said, I asked him, and I'm like, could you just say buy my book? And he looked at me like,
you motherfucker.
I'm like, okay, forget it. You fucking asshole. But
so you started to say you toured with someone. I think you started to say.
Oh yeah, we opened for Bon Jovi in 2017, and then it was just kind of
that guy
happened. Yeah, who's that guy?
That old chestnut.
Are you guys in Jersey? Because I know he's a Jersey guy.
Tony, that's God to Tony, man.
Okay, yeah. I remember my drummer asked him, hey, John, you got any words for advice for a bunch of knuckleheads like us? And he goes,
yeah, living on a prayer.
You got to get your music out there. You got to call the papers. And we're like, what century are you in? Call the papers. Call the papers. 2017, call the papers.
Wow.
That's the advice. That's the advice we
on an old man voice. Have you heard of this band, Bon Jovi? They got it where it belongs, right where it's at. And
hit the papers.
Wow.
Yeah, call the papers.
Wow.
Call the papers.
I mean, that's sound advice, though, right?
Well, back then it was.
Hit the papers, kid.
The keyboard player there. What's his face? His daughter is actually a pretty funny stand-up comic. Last name is Bryant. I forget her first name, but she's pretty funny. The end.
The end.
Now, do you plan on having more? Because for the Red Tower Entertainment Film Festival, do you have any lined up so far, or were those like the two starting off points kind of deal?
Yeah, that's Red Tower is actually, we've been doing screenings. They'll put a collection of short films together for us based off of our half-hour of horror show that we do every Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. You can watch that on Twitter and on YouTube on either of those, or you can come into our Prophets Theater and watch it there. And then right after are just a slew of short films from Red Tower in that genre of what Aaron and Chase have done on the show.
Yeah, I definitely went down a rabbit hole. I started watching some of them, and I was just like,
"Oh, great!"
I'm in love with a lot of these, like the Grimace Shake one, the Grimace Shake Massacre. I watched. Then the what is it, 3 Houses Down or whatever with the elf, and then Unholy Moly. That was the one that definitely caught my. I was like, okay, that's definitely different. But yeah, there was a few. I went down the rabbit hole, and I was just like,
outside of Outside of Red Tower, we're in talks with some other, let's say, licensed partners that are going to potentially have us screen some really, really fun films coming up. One of which this morning we heard about. So we're excited about that and see where that leads. We have some cool leads there. But that's what we're really doing right now. We're leaning heavily on like eventified sort of things, like things we can form events around, right?
Yeah.
In lieu of attractions, we want to get some cool events going on. We have we're planning on this awesome like Dark Friday event, which is like our version of Black Friday, which is just going to be a fun blowout for the coming weekends. So stay tuned for some fun events until we really like start working this dev and getting these attractions off the ground at this time.
Nice. Well, yeah, make it like a destination, like a regular destination for people.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
it will be a regular
something going on. Every whatever this day, they always have something cool going on. So I know just to go check that out. That's awesome.
Yeah, every Sunday. Well, every Sunday we got something for now. Thank you. Yeah.
Now, was there certain hot times? Like, have you noticed more traction at certain points of the day or certain points of time that
what are your metrics? What are the metrics looking like?
I don't want to go deep into that, but if anybody's listening,
a notepad, and he's taking notes. He's like, I want to make sure we're using.
No, but it's like if anybody's listening and they're like, okay, I want to meet some people, so then later on I can meet up at the theater. It's like, is there at 8:00 at night? I see more people popping in this way, and then you can plan from. I don't know.
Weekend mornings, like, go ahead, Pat.
Hookers come out PM Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So please, if you're at all interested in what the hell that is, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 PM, come on the block. Experience.
They roam the cemeteries. Yeah.
They roam the cemeteries, the alleyways, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Generally in like the morning USA time, because our Europe folks, it's already night by them. So generally that's why we do half-hour horror in the morning on 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, so we can kind of capture all audiences. But yeah, that's generally like the most popular time.
That's smart.
Sure.
That's
why the morning.
You did some thinking, and that's why we do Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. and we have a guy in the UK that is up at like 3:00 in the morning to watch the show most weeks.
Well, a lot of this was asking the community directly, like in our Discord, like what's a great time for you guys, like when and we just do a vote.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Life gets in the way.
Oh, it definitely does.
Lots of work, other stuff, and I'm just like, oh crap. That's right. I have other things I'm doing too. Like that's the other part of it. Like you guys, obviously you have a lot of time and energy put into this.
Oh, Mike, like you said, Mike never sleeps. Mike sent me a message. I was like, bro, I was fucking on my 4th REM and you were hit me back. Like I forgot what it was, but I'm like, damn, he's crazy. And I messaged him back and I was like, he should be asleep by now because he sent me this at like 4 a.m. and I was just like, he'll see this when he wakes up. And like, thanks, Chaos. So I'm like, dude, go to sleep, man.
No, he doesn't sleep. Mike is actually the undead. He doesn't have to sleep.
It's hard. It's exciting.
No, and that's the thing. Like you do get like, especially like leading up to the launch and like all the hard work going in and bouncing stuff and like and then even afterwards, like I'd like seeing, like you said, you want to keep momentum. Yeah, Mike's a zombie. Yeah, KG for sure. You want to keep momentum going because, like you said, this is the time to keep talking about it, letting everybody know about it. Which is I've been doing, Kevin's been doing, and but yeah, like I can't wait to see what you guys like come up with and like expand on because, like I said, this is so like expansive already on its own and like just little kernels of things of where you're like kind of like placeholders, I guess, right? Like here. This will be this area for like this IP or like this area or like the community's decided for this and like and like you said, you maintain since day one, community involvement and like that's been the most like the best part of this whole like symbiotic thing that
interactivity.
Yeah,
interactivity, chaos. Like that's the main like vertical right now. I think we want to focus on is how can we get our community to not just come and experience and talk to one another, but how could we get them to interact with one another and interact with the world. And I think that's one thing that a platform like a Roblox does, is it allows their users to interact with the platform itself, right?
Yeah.
We want to be like the horror equivalent of that without replicating what Roblox is doing, but make it in our tone and voice and what we do. So we want to create those interactive experiences, and I think those will maintain that and foster that user retention.
Yeah. And you mentioned Roblox, right? So I have a 15-year-old and an 11-year-old, and I showed them this, and like they're both like, that's their world, Fortnite, all that stuff, and I'm here, dinosaur, like I'm doing that AWS, and my kid's like, what are you doing? Where's your mouse?
Yeah.
I'm like trying to do, and I'm like, yo, just plug me up, man, like help me out here. And but yeah, they thought it was awesome, and like we were watching some of the films, and it's cool. So like they're excited to see also how it expands and what you guys.
Yeah, everybody's watching us. Like I think that's where we're at right now. Like everybody's watching to see, hey, what is this going to evolve into? What are these guys' next moves? What will be that interactivity that retains us and keeps our attention? Keeps us like in the world. Right. And that's what our goal is, to like get you into the block and keep you there for as long as possible. And not just because we want to like do what Facebook does and you're just swiping aimlessly. Like we want you to truly get value from it in some way and feel like you are part of a community and you are a part of like actually contributing to something that's our focus.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We can't talk about it too much, but I'm looking behind you guys and all of your screens. You guys are all collectors. You guys all are big. Yeah.
Mine doesn't look too impressive right now. I'm in my in-laws' attic.
Okay.
Yeah. My regular background is nice. It's bottles. I'm dealing with black mold, so we've been in my in-laws' attic.
Collecting black
I'm
mold,
collecting
bro.
bottles.
You're collecting black mold.
Yeah.
Hey, that's not a bad idea to add to our world. Just
exactly.
Black mold.
Black mold collection.
Oh shit.
But we're all collectors. Tony is a larger collector. He's more continuous with the physical media. I kind of was like, all right, I'm just aimlessly buying movies just for the sake of buying them, like not even movies that I needed. I'm just like, hey, Christmas Tree Shop has movies. I love a bargain. So I'm gonna.
How many upgrades of The Holiday do you own, Kevin?
No, I do have to say that's where I bought The Wiz on Blu-ray. So
what?
I bought The Wiz on Blu-ray.
He's got the only copy
on Blu-ray
of Mother My Sleep with Danger, that Hallmark film from the 90s.
I'm sure my wife has seen it. She's the Hallmark, but whose wife isn't? Am I right?
Gotta have The Wiz in 1080,
Yeah, you got to move on down the road. If you're gonna do it, you might as well do it in the highest definition possible.
Move on down the bit rate. I love that.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I was just buying movies for the sake of just like, hey, I don't have this one. Then I'd be like, yeah, I do, and I have like 3 other copies too.
Well,
so
that's what we do, bro.
I know, but it was just to the point where like my wife's like, I will leave you if you do not stop.
It's because they keep doing the 4K restorations, and then you're like, I gotta have the 4K.
Yeah, I have to have the 4K because I don't have a 4K television.
Right.
And...
but I go the other way. Yeah. I buy VHS mostly.
I do the same. Yeah, I'll do DVD, VHS. Like I got into that too, Chaos. Like I got into the VHS horror collecting.
It was the problem.
Universe. It was a bad idea, and I was like $8,000 later. I have like reassembled my video store, horror video section as a kid, but like $8,000 in VHS later.
Yeah.
That's
the main problem with VHS is it's like the biggest out of all of them. Like it just takes up so much room. I would love to, but it's like, I mean, it went from VHS, then they shrunk it down to DVD, then Blu-ray became even thinner. So it's a little bit more space saving, but VHS
Right.
I would love.
Also, they can get damaged so easily just from weather.
Mold.
Bro, that's why I think just putting this out into the universe, even ordering blank Horror Hound, Video Vault, VHS covers.
Yep.
For those little art installation type of deals.
The heck is that?
Cartoon.
That's the anti-drug campaign from McDonald's.
Yes.
That had all the old school cartoons come together and tell you not to do drugs. The only reason I have this is
everyone that was doing the voices was wicked messed up.
I guarantee you. But yeah, this is one of the only VHS I still own is this.
I still have my Dead Alive on VHS. I have my Evil Dead's in Army of Darkness.
Too many.
Oh yeah, those are must-haves on VHS. But to your point, Chaos, it is in the universe already. We've already gotten into this thought process of doing physical VHS cover shells that are sellable. So yeah.
No, that would be great. Even if you guys get to the point where you're doing POCs and then you add those on there with a bunch of other small content, you know what I mean? And it's a 30-minute tape. Even that itself is just some playable, but it's still an art installation, from Primordial by way of Block of Horror,
Let's have a cool cover and t-shirt that matches.
And that's
we got all the merchandising in our we're thinking about all the merchandising, but above all, we want to do a Block of Horror original, right? An original film that's a Block of Horror, like the Shudder original, right? And I think that's with some of the screenplays we're starting to write, which are a little more self-contained, a little lower budget, a little easier to execute. That potential and possibility is becoming more and more achievable. So that's definitely something on the near future than the horizon. So
that's awesome.
It's got to start somewhere. Just look at Terrifier, how that started and then blew up. So it's you start, you start, and then it just goes.
Before we go back into the Terrifier vault again, another week. We talk about it all the time, which is not a negative thing. We do talk about it a lot, but because I'm just as proud of them as I always have been. But
who was it that popped up there on the comment?
Huh?
I saw a comment pop up earlier.
Oh, someone had just gotten back from seeing Terrifier 3.
And
he said that he loved it. But anyways, it is time to go. So I would like people to give their handles on where people could follow them, the best place to find out what's going on. Mike, let's start with you, sir.
Yeah, we're at Block of Horror on everything from Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. Well, I said X. Jump into the world, blockofhorror.com. If you've got a computer, jump in, come in, say hello. If you see anybody, just say hi. We got screenings every Saturday at 10:30 Pacific time in the morning. Lots to do in there and more to come. So come be our friend.
Yeah, there you go. And
won't you be our neighbor?
Yes.
Won't you be? Yeah.
I'm taking my shoes off and put on some other shoes. I promise I'll do it. Angel, what about yourself?
Me. Yeah, you can.
Your name's Angel, right?
Yeah, that's me. Sorry. You could just follow me out. Chaos Manis, and just go check out That Strange Show. Go join the Block of Horror Discord. I'm in there, fucking around sometimes. And then that's it.
Tony, how about you?
Oh, Tony, sorry.
What about Patrick?
I thought it was the Block.
I can talk. Tony, you go first, Tony.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I thought it was at. I thought he was saying at Black of Horror. Jeez, Block of Horror for both.
Well, we are at Block of Horror, and I'm just going to reiterate the same thing. I mean, if you did want to find me, you could find me at New York in June on X. But I also have a podcast I would love to plug.
Oh, okay.
Screenwriters podcast. We haven't had a new episode in a while, but we will return because we are now in our virtual podcast studio in the Block of Horror.
Nice.
You can actually go into a real podcast studio. We have some really cool podcast partners. But if you go to at Screenwriters Podcast on X and all those fun things, Instagram, we're all at Screenwriters PC on Instagram. We're all over the place. Actually, it's the other way around. At Screenwriters PC on X, because we didn't have the full podcast name, and then at Screenwriters Podcast on Instagram. Or go to screenwriterspodcast.com. You can hear all of our back episodes. We have some awesome episodes with like incredible writers, like amazing horror writers, like Vincenzo Natali, William Malone. Really, really fun episodes. Tommy McLaughlin, Mick Garris. So check out Screenwriters Podcast. The episodes are so much fun.
Nice. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Tony.
You can follow me at Tony Has Nine Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, anything movie related you'll find there. Tony Has Nine Fingers on X, which I don't use, but it's part of my shtick. Tony Has Nine Fingers on TikTok, which is my fastest growing social media. So you can find me there, where I mostly just show off some movies, maybe stuff you haven't seen in a while. I do lives and stuff, and there. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And of course, here on the Wicked Horror Show, most Tuesdays, whether we have awesome guests or it's just horror movie talk, you can find us here. Definitely make sure you check us out live, because you missed the little trailer for Block of Horror. You heard a lot of things, but you didn't see it.
Yeah.
So definitely check us out live so you can be interactive too.
If you're listening to it next week, you missed everything.
Exactly.
You silly geese. Yeah.
But we do appreciate everybody if you're listening, if you're watching, but it's definitely more of an experience. We're talking about Block of Horror, which is a horror experience. It's definitely better to come on the podcast.
You don't go listen to a website. You look at it, right?
Sure.
I don't know where I'm going.
Engage with it.
It talks back to you too.
It does.
Type in the chat.
All right. I'll stop trying to be smart. Myself, just a knuckle on Instagram. Besides doing the show, I'm also part of That Strange Show,
Right.
and the continuously getting rarer and rarer episodes of the Reeducation of Nancy Ann Ritter.
Yeah, you guys are in the vault now.
Yeah, in a Disney vault.
Yeah.
Gonna release us eventually, and we'll be worth a lot of money. But anyways, that's it. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Yeah,
and,
thank you guys for coming on,
here.
and
thanks for putting out something cool for horror fans that just sit there and watch the same movies over and over again. Just give us a different experience. People that don't get to see short film fest and stuff like that, like it's you see stuff that you never think you would ever like, and then you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Now I want to see more and more and more, all this different stuff. So I appreciate it from that standpoint.
It's inspiring. It's inspiring.
It is.
Thank you, guys. We'll make you proud.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night. Bye.